everyone, Zelrant here, and for this video we're going to talk about Umamusume and everyone's favorite topic on a game's launch, which is rerolling. So one of the questions I always get on a new game as it's launching is whether or not it is worth it to reroll. And in this game, it is 100% absolutely a great idea to reroll in this game because of how easy and simple it is to go through it. You don't have to deal with the salted emails or any of that. It has like the whole guest account type deal where you can delete the data and then just restart from there. But it's even faster than that. I have a video here just to kind of showcase a reroll. This is a 2-minute and 24-second video, and they reroll 3 times in this video. So I'll kind of just have it run in the background. You can kind of see. I'll put a link to it in the description as well. The biggest thing is it has the guest account feature, but after you've run through the tutorial the one time, you'll actually get an option. It's one of these options. I can't read what it's saying here, but one of these options asks, do you want to skip the tutorial? And you just click yes on that. And they go right into the game, as you'll see here in a second. Now, they're doing this on phone. You can actually do this even better on PC through Emulator, which you can multi-instance this and do like 8 at the same time. But as you can see here, you go in, get your currency, go get your polls, go in, do your 10 poll, look at it. Okay, go to your next 10 poll, look at it. And then after that, do your next 10 poll, look at it. Happy with what you got? Not? Okay. Close it out, come back in, and start with the next guest account. And they're basically on their second reroll here. And like I said, they do 3 of them in this video. They're at 55 seconds at this point where they're going into the next one. I will be making a separate video on launch on how to do this with the English version so you understand everything that's going on. But that was just to give you an example of how quickly you can do it. Now for me, it's going to take a little bit longer per reroll, but that's because you can also multi-box this if you're crazy. You don't really need to if you're wanting to go for, we'll look at what your target's going to be, but if you want to go for really, really good luck, you can use an emulator on PC, which is I'll be doing, and do multi-instances. So in BlueStacks, I'll have 8 copies of this game open, and you can set it up so that all your clicks on one game happen on all the other games, and so you can re-roll multiple accounts or multiple games at the same time. And so if you do the math here, it takes a minute per doing one reroll. Let's say it's going to have a little bit of a delay. So let's say it takes 2 minutes to do 8 at one time. But that's still like a 20-second reroll on average per game. And so I'll be making a video on how to set up the BlueStacks and all that later. But this one's more to talk about why you're wanting to reroll. So yes, I say yes, you definitely want to reroll. So why are you wanting to reroll, and what are your targets when it comes to rerolling? So there is one thing that's kind of unique with this game versus a lot of other gachas in that you absolutely, and this is a flowchart, I'll put a link to this in my description as well. You absolutely do not want to be using your rerolls to go target the Umas or the horse girls, the actual characters that you want to play with. First reason is you're going to get a selector, so you're going to be able to select one of them right off the bat. And then you also get a random one. That'll give you a random one. But they're overall, they're not what really is game changing on your account. It's these support card banners. And so this is the other gacha. And they're not like weapons like in other games. They're kind of unique. But you use a select amount of these to train up the horse girls when you're going through the training system, and that'll be a whole separate video on that. Just know these are what are used to like give them their traits and stats and all that when it comes to training them. And so these are what can define your account. And so this is what you're going to be targeting. And there's kind of a couple different directions depending on how sweaty you want to go in terms of rerolling. But the main thing is there's 2 big cards that you want to get: Fine Motion and Super Creek. And so this is, you can actually see the images of them right here. These are what you're going to be looking for. When you watch that video where they were re-rolling super quickly, another reason it's going to take a little bit longer is pay attention to what cards you're getting. As you saw, they had 2 SSRs that dropped, and now they weren't the ones they were after. But you don't want to accidentally delete one where you get both of these or something like that. So take your time and actually pay attention to your re-rolls, or you're going to regret the fact that you accidentally delete a good one. But your target is these. So there's kind of a couple directions you want to go. The first one is, which is the casual route. So people that generally don't like re-rolling, I think this is the direction you should go with this. Where you just want to do it really quickly, get that initial good start. Like a lot of other gachas, you just try and get an early win on a banner. You don't try and get 3 wins or anything crazy. You just go and try and get 1 single copy of either Super Creek or Fine Motion. Now, what the rates are in this game is 3% on the banner, there's 20 cards in this one because this is basically like the permanent banner that has all of them in there. So 3% with 20 cards is 0.15% chance to get any single individual card. If you're going for Fine Motion's the best one to get, but if you just want to get a copy of one of the good ones, that takes it up to 0.3% chance. And so that is ultimately your target there. And then after that, you go on to the next one, which is what anyone that's really wanting to go sweaty on is getting 2 copies. So getting at least, now you can get dupes. Dupes are very important on these cards. So getting 2 copies of Fine Motion, 2 copies of Super Creek, or a copy of Fine Motion and Super Creek together are all very good in that instance. That one is basically got a really low luck, but with Emulator and multi-instance, it's possible to get it not quick, but in a reasonable amount of time. Within a day's worth of rerolls. And from what I've seen, on average, it should take about like 6-ish hours if you're one of those people that was willing to do that much rerolling. And I actually have a gotcha calculator up here to kind of look at that, just math on its own. So what I've seen in estimates is we'll get 20 pulls. So a low amount of pulls right off the bat, which kind of sucks, but it is a 3% rate just for an SSR to drop. But I put the 0.15 because this is if you're targeting that one specific card. Your chance in one roll to get 1 copy on average is 3%. So if you're just wanting to target 1, like you're that very casual, so at 3%, it should take you about 30 minutes to 40 minutes of rerolling if you can get the pace down of closing out, opening up. It's like 30 to 40 minutes to get 1 copy of one of those 2 of 1 copy of that specific card, Fine Motion. If you only care about the 2 good ones, getting 1 copy of them, you can up it to that. And now it's going to take you, like at 5% chance of getting 1. I'm going to say, yeah, that's going to be like 20 minutes to get maybe even less to get on average. I say on average. You could have terrible luck and it takes even longer. But on average, it should take 20 minutes to get one of those specific cards by itself, and that's it. So that's why I think it's absolutely worth it to reroll, just to at least get you 1 of those really good cards starting off, just to get you an initial good start. For those that are going to be crazy like me, that want to get the double luck of getting a copy of either 2 of one of them or both of them, you have to hit basically this 0.3% chance twice, and that is this one right here. So you have every reroll a 0.16% chance to get 1 of both. And I think the math I've seen is that's about 600 rerolls to pull off this luck. So 600 rerolls. So that's a lot. Now, if you think about how quick it is, though, if you're doing it one at a time and you're doing it at the speed of that video I showed you, I mean, that's 600 minutes. That's about 10 hours on 1 instance, though. 1 instance. And that's being hyper-focused. But that is what is theoretically possible if you do it in a single instance. But you can multi-instance this, which I think makes it really big. So if you think it takes about 10 hours to get it on average, if you can multi-instance 10, which I'm not going to be doing 10, I'm going to be doing 8, but just to kind of simplify the math, if you could multi-instance 10, and it takes 600 minutes 600 rerolls at 1 minute per reroll to do, then you can say it's going to take on average 1 hour to pull that off. Now that's unlikely because it's going to take, you're not going to be going and getting a reroll done multi-instances in a minute. I'm just kind of doing quick math to kind of showcase it. I'm going to estimate 3 minutes just to be more conservative on time to do a reroll multi-instancing because of lag delays, having to fix anything that might go wrong in that. So you could say it's probably going to take about 3+ hours, depending on how bad your luck is, to pull off getting that 2 luck here. You then also have the other one, which is getting 3 copies of that. And when you do the math on it, I mean, you can see it on the calculator here. And I can take this out to more digits. You're not going to pull that off. Now, there's always the possibility you get 3 cards every 100 runs, but that's 3 random ones. So there's some that may want to go for that, which is you get 1 of the good cards and then 2 other random ones. But this game, One of the big things is more cards. It's more about quality versus quantity. You want more of the good cards versus just a wide variety of all the cards. That's what's important when it comes to the meta level types of things. And so that's just a kind of quick rundown of what the reroll is, what you might want to think about when it comes to doing it. The biggest thing is just make sure if you're going to be doing rerolls, the Uma banners are not worth it. You will get a selector, so whoever's your favorite waifu of the horse skulls, you will be able to get a copy of them, so don't worry about that. The big thing is just getting yourself a starting good card. Fine motion being the more important one of the two from what I've seen. But if you can get a copy or 2 copies of fine motion or a copy of fine motion in Super Creek, you're going to be setting yourself up for success in the long term in this game. And then after you get that done, there are some guides like this one here. I'll put this one in the description as well. And we'll be going over this in a future video that kind of gives you your future goals on like after you have post-rerolls, immediate goals, like other stuff you're wanting to target, the short-term goals, because this game's been out for a while on the Japanese version. And so this is kind of predicted off if we follow their order, but it's a good idea to kind of see what you might want to target in the future. Now, these are meta level analysis. The biggest thing, and I usually say this all the time when it comes to games, don't worry about it too much, especially the Umas. The cards to me are important because they're what really define them. But you want to really play with your favorite of the characters. That's what's going to give you the most fun. So don't worry too much about them, but you can use this to kind of give you an idea of how you want to plan out your pulls in the future from this point on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I will be, like I said, I'll be making a video actually showcasing the reroll itself once it launches, so you can see it in English and all the options you need to select and all that. I will also probably the day before launch make a video showcasing you how to set up blue stacks for multi-instancing the game. Because the biggest thing is, if you want to be the sweaty person that goes for that 2 cards, multi-instancing is going to be the way to go, because even if it takes you a little bit longer per reroll, you're rerolling 8+ at the same time. Depending on your computer, you might only be able to do 4. It really depends on your PC's power. But if you have a decent gaming PC, you should be able to do 8 at the same time, and that'll just accelerate how quickly you can get through this. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps, and thanks for watching.